Now, President Trump has said the US states of Texas and Vermont will allow certain businesses to reopen from Monday. At the daily White House briefing, Mr. Trump said there were signs that the virus had passed its peak. In major cities around the country, demonstrators have been demanding an end to the stay-at-home orders. Well, we speak now about when the US could reopen and the effects of easing the lockdown with Professor Bhramar Mukherjee, who is a biostatistician and Professor of Global Health and Epidemiology at the University of Michigan. Thank you so much for joining us on BBC News, Professor Mukherjee. A very difficult question to answer this, but in your opinion, when might be the right time to start thinking of easing the lockdown in the US?
So thank you for having me. I want to filter out the political biases and agenda from the scientific conversation. So what I'm interested in is working with my colleagues in economics and policy to come back with an optimal route to come back to normal. And the fact is we just have slowed down in our case counts. We have not turned the corner in many places, and there are new peaks coming out. So it would be quite short-sighted to open in a hasty way and really undo the social distancing work that all of us have done together. And humans are finally ultimately beating the dire model projections, so we have to be really careful as we reopen. So I think we have to go through a step of stabilization and then reactivating the workforce. So that's my own opinion, that it's not the question of the number of case counts or time, but we have to look around and say that are we ready to follow the three principles of test, trace, and treat, and then work on the viral control and the economic recovery simultaneously.
And what happens, in your opinion, then, if an individual state has relatively few cases? Should they be allowed to ease their restrictions?
So I do think that if you look at, like, the whole world is undergoing through a series of natural experiments. So we have seen in other parts of the country and other parts of the world as well, if there is free mobility and cases can move from one state to another, that's not the optimal solution. And also, I think we haven't made a mistake of posing this problem as if economics and public health are pitted against each other. We are all working towards a solution which reduces human suffering and human loss, which is conducive to human flourishing. So any optimal strategy will have to balance between these two goals. And sometimes right now, controlling the virus is the most important thing. And then we need to have some form of strategy so that we can go back to work with forms of suppression in place. So we are all working towards that common goal.
It's been quite marked in the United States that COVID-19 has hit certain parts of American society much harder than it has others.
Yes, so actually this is something that is very important, that COVID-19 outcomes has really underscored the structural disparities and the inequities that exist in the society. And I feel more than committed to work with my colleagues on resolving these issues. So I'm completely with you on that.
OK, we're going to have to leave it there. Professor Bhramar Mukherjee, thank you so much for talking to us. Thank you.
Thank you.